I'm Bob Boettcher, and I'm here to visit with you about the history of Spirit Lake. I'm 97 years old, and I've been living in this area all my life. I went to school and graduated in '42, and have been active with the graduations ever since. And as far as the town is concerned, I know about every business in town. I've always been interested in all the businesses in town. And being a mayor from 1979 to 1989, I really enjoyed being around the town. After that, I took up with the Iowa Great Lakes Sanitary, and I was president for 25 years of the sanitary. Now, getting back to Spirit Lake, the places that I lived with or saw as changing through the years. I was here when the fire in 1940 took place, and a lot of the businesses like the Barrett's Pool Hall and the Hills Hardware Store, very Lodge's Candy Kitchen, and several of those were burned out but replaced with better, nicer buildings.
Bob, do you know how the fire started?
No,
I wonder.
I don't know, I never discussed, but, ready? After that, I probably spent several years with the DNR, 15 years to be exact, and at that time I had an office here in Spirit Lake, so at the Iowa Fish Hatchery. So consequently, I still was a part of Spirit Lake, although I worked out in Des Moines, but was here on weekends all the time. When you start talking about the buildings in town, of course, the courthouse was getting up in age, and I spent a lot of time well, I probably got ahead of my story. I got into the automobile business for 57 years, and I naturally had a lot of car titles, so I spent a lot of time in the old courthouse as well as now the new courthouse. When you go down Main Street, I can start at the Kaplan store at the Highway 71 and Lake Street, or not Lake, Main Street, and then go down from there to Teats Ladies Ready to Wear, and Blaine Hoynes Realty Office, A.M. Johnson, and Harp's Grocery, and Barrett's Pool Hall, Coast to Coast Store, and 5 and 10 cent store, and like Brewster's Variety Store was there at that time. Now there was a photo shop, now it's a realtor, or not a realtor, attorney's place. And Bevan's Drug at my time was on the corner of the old White Bank. And then you jump across the street to the First National Bank, and beyond it was a grocery store high in the air. It had a lot of steps up to it, and the grocery store was to the left, and Sportsman's Grill was to the right. And then came back down the stairs to Reed's Cafe, to Cook's Hatchery, to Andrews or before Andrews, it was Toot White had a restaurant, and then Lawrence Andrews had a creamery. And later, another building was added, and the Iowa Electric was in it. Many have changed since then, but those were the ones I remember early. And then next to it was a service station, McCoy's service station. You jump the street again, and there was the Marion Hotel. And beyond the Marion Hotel was the Council Oak grocery store, and now was in there, an attorney is in there, and also a dental shop is in there. Jump across the street was my time was the Deep Rock service station, later became the post office. And north of that was Schultei's welding shop. And then coming up the street on that same side was Bill Hillary's barber shop. And then, well, I jumped it there. There was a Standard station. Then Bill Hillary had it later. And then next to that was the Red Owl grocery store. And next to it was AMP store. And then Ford's Lockers built a building in there. And that's, of course, all changed again. And then Maynard Olson had a Gamble store in there beyond the locker plant. And then the Jensen's Hardware, not just hardware, Jensen's Garage was there. Orv Stanley was their chief mechanic, and he was here for 100 years. And then beyond it was Cole's Farm Store. They started in that particular building next to that. And later, there were several other places in there. And then coming up to the corner was Kaplan Store again. They had moved from up on Highway down to the corner of the